Oskar Anasov is one of the most influential vampires active in London tonight. He's responsible for the analog communication system which connects London's kindred landlords, and he is a staunch believer and enforcer of the compact. He can also arrange passage into or out of the city safely. Embraced by the Nosferatu Boronisk in Prussia in the mid-19th century, Oskar was once a political revolutionary with a hand in the upheavals that occurred in France, Italy, Germany, and Hungary. After the Russian Revolution and subsequent purges, he traveled with many political exiles to London. Oskar joined the anarchs of London and instigated unrest against the Ventru rule. He was caught painting anarch graffiti on the walls of Elysium and was hauled before then Seneschal Anne Bowsley. He had a choice: to serve her or to be executed. For many years he remained a loyal, if grudging, servant of the courts of London. When Anne succeeded Mithras as the Prince of London, Oskar became her herald, issuing decrees across the domain of Avalon on her behalf. Oskar was clever enough to survive the fall of London, and was instrumental in devising the compact. In addition to maintaining the network of carrier pigeons used to send messages between London's landlords, Oskar also devotes considerable time to studying and monitoring Operation Antigen. Anasov's services aren't usually free, and each time you call upon him, he will require payment for his efforts. He typically prefers to receive information and favors over hard currency. In each case, the specifics of each payment are left to the storyteller's discretion. Greetings, kindred. I am voivodemekhet, and welcome back to our world of darkness, where tonight we are going over Oskar Anasov, a Nosferatu anarch turned servant of the Camarilla and survivor of the Fall of London, which can be found in The Fall of London, a Vampire the Masquerade sourcebook, their 5th edition. Oskar Anasov is one of those, Nosferatu who just, is all about the connection and all about the trading of information. So he's basically going to be your stereotypical Nosferatu. But let's go ahead and take a look into his lore sheet to see exactly where this Nosferatu anarch turned Camarilla harpy can help you out in your chronicle. Messaging service. You are acquainted with Anasov well enough to use his messaging network, which is a reliable method for contacting other kindred in London without risk of the communication being intercepted by Operation Antigen. Anasov promises successful delivery regardless of how elusive the recipient might otherwise be. That's very useful for those people who are in games where the storyteller is very, very harsh when it comes to communications like cell phones and things like that being intercepted to get, basically where the hunters are getting into your stuff. I like the idea of it not saying how the message gets through either. That opens up a wide variety of options for the storyteller to do world building. They do talk about carrier pigeons, however, in the introduction to this. So, yeah, you can use your own mindset on that one. Personal introduction. For a higher fee, Anasov can also arrange for a face-to-face meeting with any other kindred resident in London. Once per story, you can name any kindred known to be in London, regardless of whether they hold domain or are just passing through, and the Nosferatu will arrange the meeting after receiving payment. Anasov facilitates the introduction, but cannot vouch this kindred's behavior or reaction to meeting you. If the meeting turns violent or otherwise ends badly for the kindred you named, then Anasov will refuse all your future requests for the sake of his own reputation. I can very much understand that. I like the idea that there are always repercussions to your actions depending on how you're going to react. Being able to set up a personal meeting with a possibly elusive kindred through Anasov is useful, especially in a city like London where so many kindred are going to be going the extra mile to try to hide, not only from Operation Antigen, but also most likely from other kindred. Having Anasov help you with this is very useful. Safe passage. Anasov has the means to smuggle mortals and kindred in and out of the city of London without fear of detection by other vampires, or the agents of Operation Antigen. Once each story, you may call upon the Nosferatu to perform this service for a group of up to 6 individuals. If entering the city, they will be delivered safely and securely to an address of your choice. If leaving the city, then you may name a destination outside of London's borders. Typically, Anasov will arrange a pickup or drop-off in a town or city in the southeast of the UK. Arranging international transit is possible for a higher fee, but Anasov will not vouch for the party's reception or safety after they have been delivered to the requested destination. That actually makes a lot of sense, considering the fact that most vampires really only have basic control in like a specific domain. I can see the farther of being away, the harder it is. I mean, that's actually how the dot system has always been used when you're looking at influence anyway, where the further away you go from the city, the less and less dots you have in a specific influence. I can see this being massively useful, especially if you're running a plot line about reestablishing Praxis in London, which I know a few people who have attempted to run that kind of storyline. It doesn't really seem like it's that much of a long term if the whole idea is like, let's fight against Project Antigen, but I don't know, to each its own. Mentor. You are personally acquainted with Anasov, and your interactions with him are more than just business. You may count him as a 4-dot mala, and you receive a significant discount when paying to utilize his services. However, this also means that he may call on you at least once per story to help him with message delivery, people smuggling, or another similar activity, which furthers his interest. I really like that because it kind of builds a story. Could you imagine a game where you come in with Mentor, and in the very first session, Anasov comes up to you and says, hey, I have an elder that needs to get out of this city. You're up to this. And then it just starts a whirlwind adventure about how you're trying to get like Elder A to location B without the Operation Antigen getting a hold of you, or possibly even other kindred. Maybe he's somebody called in a favor because he's being hunted by the Hunt Club or something like that. That would be very interesting, and it could actually be a good start-off point for any chronicle. Landlord Council. Meeting of vampires from neighboring domains occur from time to time to settle debts, resolve disputes, and to recognize new landlords. Larger gatherings of all of London's domain holders are rare, and usually mark the need to discuss a great threat or opportunity that might affect them all. Through Anasov, you will be notified and invited to any meeting of landlords that takes place in London. Once per story, if you have a suitable justification, you may also ask Anasov to use his influence to call the kindred landlords of London to a meeting. Note that these kindred are paranoid, fickle, and prideful, and will mark you as a fool or an enemy if they should decide that you are wasting their time. Dealing with the landlords of London. That is an interesting consideration. The landlords of London act as like mini princes because of how large the city actually is, and because of the fact that Operation Antigen has basically carved the city up so much that there are now so many strange domains that need to be considered. I do think that we need to have a lore dump, a TLDR on the Landlord Council, just so we can get a full grasp of how big and how insane the landlords actually are. But I can also see where this could be a lot of fun dealing with it, especially if you're able to have like narrators or something like that. I don't know. I see that almost being like a LARP accessible kind of thing. So we have just gone over the lore sheet Oskar Anasov, which is found in the Fall of London sourcebook for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. If this has been helpful to you at all, please leave a like on this video. Drop a comment down to let me know exactly what you think of Oskar Anasov, not only as the lore sheet, but as the NPC himself. He's a very interesting person, and he's also the only named lore sheet that we have in the Fall of London. I don't necessarily count Justicar Parr's lore sheet for that, because it is agent of Justicar Parr. That is talking about you, and not an individual person, where Oskar is just a headliner here. Nosferatu of great demand and respect. So yes, if you think that this video could help anybody, either an up-and-coming storyteller or a player who just wants to get to know the game better, please by all means share and spread the word of our community, because we are growing to fun numbers, and I would like to see that number continuously tick up, because the more people involved in this, it means the more people I can basically find out who enjoys this, which makes these all the more worth making. I am voivodemekhet. This is our World of Darkness, and thank you very much for joining me in this lore sheet video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Good evening.